Now, it's often debated each and every season, is this the season where the Championship is easier than ever, harder than ever, the most unpredictable league in the world? Yet most seasons you see the parachute teams mostly get themselves back up using their financial might and their incredible squads, and last season may have been the ultimate example of that, with Leicester, Southampton and Leeds setting an unprecedented, incredible standard that we might never see in the Championship again, which makes Ipswich's incredible achievement even more special. However, this season, maybe it's fair to say the Championship is a little bit more wide open for promotion, maybe quite a bit more wide open for promotion, as no disrespect to Burnley, Sheffield United or Luton, but the three teams who have come down this year are nowhere near as strong as the three who come down last season, and from what we've seen so far, they've not exactly hit the ground running either. So including the three that have come down, and Leeds United of course, yes, there's still a big chance that the four current parachute teams living in the Championship will be up there, and it wouldn't surprise me if they all made up the top four come May. But I think there is a bigger chance than ever for a very long time for a non-parachute team to burst their way into the top two and get automatically promoted. And today I'm going to run through four teams who I think might never get a better chance this season to get themselves straight up into the Premier League. So, starting with West Bromwich Albion. They are the team that I fancy very much so to be the team who breaks in to the top two. I have discussed this in my final revisited Championship League table predictions, which went up on Sunday, so check that video out if you haven't already. For me, West Brom have the best manager in the league, and I think that's pound for pound. Yes, Farker gets 90 plus points every single season, and I do have a parachute payment team winning the Championship, which again you'll find out in my league table prediction. But there is one team that I had out of this four who I thought would get second, and I'll give you a clue, it might have been West Brom. Carlos Corberán, as I say, pound for pound the best coach in the league, and it is incredible how he continues to maximise every single aspect out of this West Brom team. Last season we saw a perfect example of them just quietly going about their business. They got themselves into the playoffs and people kind of forgot they were even there because they just consistently kept picking up points and they were in there by a country mile. They solidified their playoff spot long before the end of the season, and albeit it didn't quite work out for them in the playoffs, again, maybe down to the might of the parachute sides this season, I don't think there's any reason why they can't take one step forward into the top two. We've seen it already with how they've started. They've already started just like a Carlos Corberán side normally does, quietly going about their business, getting results, winning tight games, being very, very clinical and very solid at the back. He is a master tactician. He is incredibly flexible. He can adapt to whichever opponent his team plays. So I think they have a huge chance of not blowing teams away every week, but quietly and consistently picking up results, not having huge peaks, not having huge drop-offs, and they'll be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. The second team is Boro, and I think the reason for that is the Michael Carrick project, the squad that we've built over the last sort of 3 seasons with Kieran Scott in the recruitment. It feels like it's all culminating to this point. This feels like this is when it will all come together this season. I think we've done brilliantly to build a squad over the last season where we brought in a ton of new players, some of which have went on to be some of the best in the league. Some have left and gone on to be fantastic players in the Premier League. But I think we're finally now seeing the fruits of the work that has been done behind the scenes at Boro with the squad we now currently have. I think it's the best team Boro have had since we last got promoted to the Premier League. We've maintained every single one of our key assets this season, with Rav staying, Lath staying, Hackney staying, McGree signed on. Loads of players have come to the club this summer who we've beat other Championship teams too. We are seen as a side who gets the best out of players. We're seen as a side with a bright future. The project is clearly very, very intriguing for a lot of footballers who've come this summer. And I just feel like the squad we've got, the signings we've brought in on top of all the brilliant players we've retained, we've got a squad with quality, with strength, with depth, with balance. And the stats already this season prove that Boro are the most creative team in the league, and we're also one of the best defensive sides in the league. The only thing that has not reflected that is the results, and that's where my only concern comes in for Boro. I feel like we've got the squad to get second. I think we've got the best squad out of the 4 teams I'm discussing in this video, and if Boro maximise their potential, I think we've got a higher ceiling than all 4 teams in this video. So if Boro deliver on what we should, which is all the chances we're creating, the lack of chances we're giving away to opposition, and if we cut out some of the terrible individual errors we've seen already, I think this Boro team, at its maximum, with a fully fit team, gets second. The one caveat, and this is me speaking as a Middlesbrough fan who's been scarred more times than not, and a lot of Boro fans watching this will relate quite a lot. One thing that will stop Middlesbrough Football Club getting second this season is Middlesbrough Football Club. I've already seen some of it in tiny microcosms with errors that have cost us points against Derby, Portsmouth. Otherwise, we'd have won all 4 games. That's where we need to cut out the errors, because that's the difference. And if we were much more clinical in all the games we've played, we would have scored twice, 3 times, maybe even 4 times as many goals as we have done. So the ceiling that this Boro team has is second. Can we deliver it? It's Boro, so who the hell knows? The third team is Coventry, and they're the ones who I would have probably fancied more so prior to this season. However, I was really hoping for Coventry's sake they would banish the really bad habit they have of starting the season poorly, and unfortunately from the evidence so far they just can't do it. They just cannot start the season well enough. They've just not gotten going yet. They're still sort of stuttering along in first and second gear. They've had disappointing defeats at the CBS to Stoke, to Norwich. Maybe games they were better, they should have had something from both of them games, but equally they scraped past Oxford thanks to a terrible back pass in stoppage time. So Coventry have not looked convincing at all, and they've had some really big chances, and I think Wright and Sims, again, a bit like the Boro attackers, have the potential, have the ceiling to fire Coventry right through into the top 2, but the question is, like with Boro's attackers, can they be trusted to do it, and can Coventry keep the goals out going the other way? Because I'd associate Coventry as being probably, along with West Brom, one of the strongest defensive and reliable teams in the league, but so far we've not quite seen that. So I still have complete faith Coventry will get themselves up and around the top 6 like last season, but they've got to get their season going quickly, otherwise it will be another big missed opportunity like last season. And like Boro, they've maintained a lot of their key assets, and there might never be a better squad than this that Coventry currently have to get second. So this could be the window for them. So far, they're kind of blowing it. And the fourth team, who I think might never have a better chance of going up, is obvious. It's Sunderland. Now, they would not have been in this list prior to the season, but you cannot discount them based off of the start. They've made 4 wins from 4. Reggie Lebrie's side have took to the league by storm, and you can't knock them. It's not like they've overperformed massively, that they shouldn't be top. They are statistically the best team in the league. They are positionally the best team in the league, and of course, rightfully so, there is a lot of excitement around this Sunderland team. The big question is, can they maintain this? Because with Boro, with Coventry, with West Brom, with Corberan, with Robbins, with Carrick, we've seen that they can consistently have a team winning, playing well, doing the right things. They've got the squads to do it, they've got the quality to do it, they've got the depth to do it, the experience to do it for across a 46-game season. Them 3 teams, you're pretty dead cert will be up and around there. Sunderland are more of an unknown quantity, and that's where you've got to sort of sit back and expect this to go one of 2 ways. They either do what Ipswich did, they just have a galvanised young team with no fear, who just carry this incredible momentum through the season, and they just keep on going, they don't go away. They might drop a point here or there, but like Ipswich did, they'll be there at the end, and they'll capitalise when the others might start to wobble. Or the alternative is what happens when they lose that first game. What happens if they get a few injuries? What happens when teams and coaches start to work out Reggie Lebrie's side? What happens in the winter when fixtures pile up and maybe experienced heads are needed at times? Sunderland still have a lot of tests that I feel like they need to pass before we can really, honestly, truly consider them a top 2 team. But you can't discount them because of the start they've made. I definitely think they've propelled themselves into top 6 contention, undoubtedly. And like the other 3, their potential probably does have them at top 2 if they can keep this going. But obviously, there are a lot more question marks, a lot more tests, and a lot more hurdles that this Sunderland team have got to jump over and prove they can get through, which maybe the other 3 teams in this list don't, having the fact they've proven they can be up there in seasons gone by. So Sunderland certainly have the potential. It's just a case of sitting back and seeing how long they can keep this going. So there are the 4 teams who I think have got the best chance of getting automatically promoted, and maybe a better chance than ever. Now, for the Burnley fans, Luton, Sheffield United and Leeds fans out there, this is not me discounting you guys. As I said at the start, I would not be shocked, I would not be surprised in the slightest if you were the top 4 at the end of the season. 2 of you made up the automatic promotion places and the other 2 were in the playoffs. Wouldn't surprise me whatsoever, because that's what history tells us in the Championship. But my point is, I just feel like the gap, the bridge between the teams who've come down and the established sides who are ready to sort of kick on and challenge, that gap's closer. And if the top 3 or the relegated 3 in Leeds maybe don't quite get going, and we've seen Burnley stutter a bit, stumble a little bit, Sheffield United have looked solid relatively, I will give them that. Leeds are looking good too, Luton not so much. I think there is a chance that second place could be challenged by one of these 4. So I'd be intrigued to hear in the comment section below which one of these 4 teams you think is most likely, or maybe there's another team. Maybe there's another team in the league who you think might have a chance if they can absolutely have a fantastic season. You know, which of the other sides who are knocking in and around the playoffs do you think could burst their way into the top 2 if things go well? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, hit a like on this video and subscribe for much more football and Championship content to come. We're getting closer to the end of this horrid international break, so I will be coming soon with a preview of Boro's next game against Preston, which is coming up at the weekend, as well as other cool things. And as I said at the start of the video, I've done loads of cool league table content over the international break, predicting my latest, final, revisited, done Championship league table, among other cool content too. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Do take care. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.